In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to kickstart a two-stroke. What's up, Rad family? I'm Dakota Freeman, and let's go ahead and jump into it. So when we're getting ready to kickstart our two-stroke, this bike has been sitting overnight, it's cold. It's going to be the hardest to start a two-stroke, especially when they're cold. So we're going to make sure that we have the gas on first thing, because there's so many times that I've taken off after starting a bike, I get 100 feet down the road and then whoa, whoa, whoa. So to eliminate that right off the bat, before I even try to kickstart this bike, I'm going to make sure that the fuel is on. The fuel is going to be here by this valve adjustment. You're going to just see on the valve, it's either going to read RES, which is reserve, off, or on. Make sure that you're putting your fuel to on, so that way that it's on while you're riding. The second thing that we're going to do, since this bike is cold, is going to be to go ahead and turn our choke on. The choke is just going to pull back some of the air, so that way we're not flooding our bike as we're trying to start it, especially when it's cold. So just some basic information real quick. As a two-stroke over a four-stroke, two-strokes are going to be much easier to kickstart because they don't have as much torque and compression. So a four-stroke is going to be a lot harder on the actual kickstart because there's so much compression behind that type of motor. So a two-stroke is going to be a lot easier to kick over and get started. So now I have my fuel on, I have my choke on. I'm going to make sure that my bike is in neutral, just because I've always found that it's easier to start your bike when it's in neutral. The Kickstarter is going to be located right here by your right leg. You're going to pull it out, and this is what you're going to use to actually kickstart the dirt bike. Especially with this bike, you can get it started the first couple of kicks pretty easy, just because it's a little bit newer of a bike. You don't have to do too much other than just turn the choke on. If you have an older bike, especially an older two-stroke, sometimes you might have to use just a little bit of throttle, and that will actually help you get your bike kick-started. But with this bike, I don't need to add any throttle. I just simply pull my choke out and get ready to kick-start the dirt bike. See if we can do it first kick. Beautiful. She cranked up first kick, just like a charm, just like I was hoping for. So if that's not your case with your two-stroke, you can actually multi-kick your bike to actually help it get kick-started right off the bat. The way to do that would be, unlike a four-stroke where you really want to make sure you're at the top of the gear every time when you come down and kick it, you can just simply go through and just kick the bike a couple of times in a nice rapid order, and that'll help get that two-stroke fired up for you. If your bike is just not wanting to start and you're really struggling to get it started, there's a couple of things on a two-stroke that you need to check. The first being the carburetor. The carburetor is a huge issue when it comes to actually getting our dirt bikes started whenever they're being finicky and not wanting to start. The easiest way to clean the carburetor is just going to be simply to turn the fuel back off, and then to use your fuel screw to open the fuel up that's inside the carburetor, drain out the old fuel. That'll also drain out any garbage or anything that's kind of in that bowl of the carburetor, and then turn your fuel back on, get new gas in there, and that'll help you get your bike fired up. And then, just like I talked about earlier, if you're still struggling to get the bike to kickstart, you can actually just barely crack the throttle, and giving it a little bit of extra fuel might be what your bike needs. A lot of the older early 2000 bikes, 1990 bikes, those bikes do require that just because of the type of motor that it is. And I even find that on any type of old two-stroke motor. Some more things that are good to know with your two-stroke is that if you happen to fall over on your two-stroke, they're more likely to get flooded and the carburetor will fill up with fuel. The best ways to eliminate this is going to be to, if you're not riding your bike, turn off the fuel, so that way the carburetor doesn't continually keep loading up with fuel, and that is going to make it much easier to start for you. Another thing is, if you fall, like I said, it's going to keep filling up with fuel. You're going to pick your bike up, and now the bike's going to be flooded, and that's going to make it really hard to start as well. So the best thing to do at this point is to try to just kick through the bike a few times, and that'll help burn off any excess gas. But what you're going to have to do is try to get that bike running again by either kickstarting it, roll starting it, and that is going to be the best way. Once the bike fires up, it'll burn through that excess gas, and then you'll be able to kickstart your bike fine again the next time. If for some reason it will not kickstart, it's been flooded, you can actually, if you have tools around, you can drain the fuel out of the carburetor like we talked about earlier in this video by turning the fuel off, opening up the fuel screw, letting the old fuel drain out of the carburetor, and then go back into closing that fuel screw, turn the fuel back on, and start fresh without the carburetor being all flooded. That'll actually make it a lot easier to start, especially on these two-strokes. Then, if you're putting around on a two-stroke, they tend to load up with excess fuel that's not getting burned off. This is just something that's very common on two-strokes. So the best thing to do is going to be to clean out the excess fuel. So when you start it up, and if you see a little smoke coming out the back of your bike, it's actually where the oil is getting kind of not burned properly, and that is where we're going to actually need to clean out this motorcycle to make it run better as well. So by doing that, you can actually go down a road or something at a little bit higher speed, and that will actually help get the bike cleaned out where it should be. You can also do it when you first crank your bike up and you're warming it up by just turning on the throttle a little bit, winding up, revving up that motor a little bit, and that'll really help you out as well. So these little tips and tricks will help you get that bike started and keep it clean to where it starts better the next time. Another big thing to think about is going to be your air filter. Air filters do get really dirty really quickly, and it's a big way to actually help your bike kickstart better, because if the bike can't breathe, then it's not going to want to start. So make sure that you always keep your air filter nice and clean, and that'll keep your bike happy and really wanting to kickstart on the first try. I really hope this video showed you how to kickstart your two-stroke dirt bike. You got it running, and now you can go ride and have a great day. If this video helped you, make sure you like this video, drop some comments down below with any questions that you have, and as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're still looking for more dirt bike riding tips, I'm always here. I've made a full dirt bike riding course over on my website. It'll walk you through being a complete beginner and take you to being an advanced rider, mastering the tracks and trails. I also give away a free dirt bike guide, so make sure you just drop an email at the bottom of the website and I'll send it straight to you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button that's right here and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. After that, you can watch my next video right here. Stay rad, and I'll see you over there.